Everyone's had a chance to take a look at the agenda. Deb, it looks like you'd like to either ask a question or make a motion.
Move to approve the agenda.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the agenda. Is there support?
Second, Larry.
Support by Larry, thank you. And there's Travis. Hello, Travis. We have a motion support to approve the agenda as presented. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor of approving the agenda as presented, say aye. Aye. All opposed? In the opinion of the chair, the motion passes unanimously. Next, we'll move on to any presentations. Chris, do we have any requests for presentations tonight? Or actually, I'm sorry, public comment, I jumped ahead. First, we'll do any introductions and presentations, but I don't believe we have any introductions or presentations this evening.
Right, no, you're not.
Okay, then let's move on to the public comment. Is there any request for public comment?
I do not have any request for public comment.
Okay, thank you, Chris. With there being no request for public comment, then we will move on to the approval of the consent agenda. And the consent agenda includes board minutes from our May 12th reorganization meeting, our May 12th regular board meeting, our bills for the past month, treasurer's report, our staffing report, and donations, although I report there were no new donations since the last board meeting. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Larry moves to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, thank you, Larry. Is there support?
Second.
Thank you, Deb. There's a motion and support. Any discussion? Any discussion? Not all those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? In the opinion of the chair, the motion is adopted unanimously. Thank you, board. Next, we have committee updates, but I do not believe there were any committees that met since the last board meeting. If I am in error, please let me know, but I think that is the case. And if there are no committee reports, then we'll note, and I think for those who are members of the Facility Transportation Technology Committee, the meeting moved to our next board meeting date as opposed to today. Next, we'll move to item 6, discussion and possible action items. And we have a number of items in this section. And the first begins with a resolution authorizing issuance and sale of a $28 million, $900,000 bond anticipation note pursuant to Wisconsin statute section 67.12 sub 1 sub B. With that, I will turn it over to Dr. Thayer.
Yes, so at the last meeting, you had a presentation from Mr. Boyson from Baird, and tonight she's not able to be with us, but Brian Brewer from Baird is on the call, in case you have questions. So at that point, she walked through the bond issuing process, and part of that is to approve this resolution, authorizing the issuance of the bond anticipation. So with that, I'll just turn it over for questions, and again, Tammy is here as well, and then Brian Brewer.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Any questions from the board? If not, since we did have a pretty lengthy or significant discussion of this at our last board meeting, we are probably ready to move to a vote. And is there anyone who would like to move the resolution?
I'll move the resolution forward.
Okay, thank you, Travis. Is there support?
Second,
Okay, thank you, Larry. There is a motion and support. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? If not, then we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? In the opinion of the chair, the motion passed unanimously. Thank you, board. Next, we will move on to resolution authorizing issuance and establishing parameters for the sale of not to exceed $28,900,000 general obligation refunding bonds. Once again, back to Dr. Thayer.
Yeah, so again, this, was something that we talked about at the last meeting, this discussed all the parameters for actually issuing the bonds, and we'll clear that for that.
Questions from the board? Questions from the board? Okay, if not, given that we did have a significant discussion of this motion too, or at least topic at the last board meeting, is anyone willing to move forward and make a motion?
I'll move that resolution forward.
Okay, thank you, Travis. Is there support?
Second?
And that was, couldn't see. Is that
Deb.
Carrie Ann? Oh, it's Deb. Hi, Deb, thanks. Cameron didn't quite pan over. Did an excellent job though. Okay, we have a motion by Travis, second by Deb to approve this resolution. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Now we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Once again, in the opinion of the chair, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you, board. We'll move to item C, resolution appointing Associated Trust Company, National Association to serve as fiscal agent in connection with outstanding obligations. And I will once again turn it over to Dr. Thayer.
So this one's a little bit different, and Tammy can chime in as well, but, so our 2016 obligations, we do have already, Associated Trust being the paying agent on that, and they are anticipated to be the paying agent on the new. But at this point, we internally are still doing the 2012 bonds ourselves. And it makes a lot of sense to put all of this together and have Associated Trust do all of the paying, because then they make sure all of the wires are correct, the exact amount of money. We basically do one wire to them, and then they make sure all the money goes to all the right places. It's just a lot cleaner, and it also is another set of eyes to make sure that the right amount is going out from here, and the right amount is going to all of the different places. Because it gets a bit complicated. As Tammy was researching this a little bit, another complication, which hopefully there's no chance of happening, but if you turn over business managers at any point, it gets extremely difficult, and, sometimes things can get missed. And so, again, having one wire go out and then all of it getting distributed from one place, is just a much cleaner way to do it. So that's why we're there. Tammy, anything else you want to add?
No, and, the other thing is to make sure that there's no default on the back. So we're prepared, are we in subject to the question of, rating agencies, they have to be defaulted. Just another way of, preventing that if we're trying to find this.
Okay, questions from the board? I have one. Dr. Thayer, is there a significant or material cost to doing this?
There's not. I asked Tammy that question as well.
It is, Associated charges $425 per issue. So I think that's pretty reasonable. Considering everything that they have to do.
Any other board members? Questions? I'll ask once again, other board members, any questions? If not, then I would look to the board to make a motion to approve this resolution as presented.
I'll move forward on that resolution from the Associated Trust Company.
Okay, thank you, Travis. Is there support?
I'll second it, this is Carrie.
Carrie, thank you. We have a motion and support. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? If not, we will move to the vote. All those in favor of the motion or the resolutions presented signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? In the opinion of the chair, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you, board. Next, we will move on to item D, investment of bond proceeds. Dr. Thayer?
Yes, so there are basically two main companies that work with school districts, for the most part, they are PMA and PCM, and we have to make a choice in regards to which one to use for our bond proceeds. We are recommending that we use PMA. There's due But if you looked at the two different proposals, the fees are lower for PMA. There's no fee for the arbitrage calculation. There's a setup fee for vendor payment for, vendor payment services. It does have many more investment options, and they also try to work with local banks and, use them as much as possible. And it is part of that bridge community that you approved the last time that we could be part of if we want to. It didn't obligate us, but, we could be part of it for statewide cooperative. So for those reasons, we do believe that PMA is the best option for us at this time. But again, it will give us.
Questions from the board? Questions from the board, and of course, we wanna make sure that we don't violate any arbitrage restrictions by borrowing money at a certain rate and then reinvesting it at a, higher rate or significantly higher rate, which can lead to legal issues. Any further discussion? Not then, I will look to the board to make a motion as to which one of the two bids to accept. And we do have an administration recommendation. Okay, Deb?
I move to, go with the PMA. And proposal.
Okay, so Deb moves to accept the proposal by PMA to be the investor of our bond proceeds. Is there a second?
Larry, second.
Thank you, Larry. We have a motion by Deb, second by Larry. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Not, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? In the opinion of the chair, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you, board. It's good that we're able to proceed on all those counts, take advantage of hopefully the lowest possible interest rates before we start to see more of a significant upturn in interest rates. Next, we will move on to item E, which is referendum project updates. Dr. Thayer.
Yeah, so referendum project updates, obviously the working behind the scenes on all of the finance pieces of it, but, also we've been working and starting, to get our committees off the ground. So we have staff, committees that are working both at the primary school project, as well as here on the high school project. The primary school one got off the ground last week, the high school one is gonna, kick off next week. Our leadership team was also, kicked off last week, so all of those are starting to roll and, have preliminary conversations, basically where we left off with design the last time, and then moving forward to where do we want to go, there's site visits this summer and so on. At the next facility meeting, we kind of have more dialogue about what exactly the facility committee role will be, how do we wanna, make that work, and then also at the board level. So in June, I anticipate coming here and having more dialogue about exactly how do we want this to function at the board level, how much information do we want or not want, what level of detail. So we'll get to that point probably in June or July. So it's, everything's kind of off the ground and running, and we're excited about the possibilities of it.
Questions from the board? And I'll just quickly comment that I attended both sessions, and if anything was loud and clear, it's the elementary school teachers definitely want more bathrooms.
Yeah.
And I said the board was already aware of that and that we've discussed that, so. But I thank them all for their participation, and then I also thank all of the faculty that was present and administration staff for just everything they've gone through the last year and the perseverance and patience. Much appreciated by the school board. Any questions by the board on the project?
Where
Yes,
the schools,
Jessica.
think so, what other schools are you looking at visiting?
That's confirmed.
Okay, are there very similar schools out there that,
There are some that they think would be a good match, but we haven't actually discussed exactly which one.
okay,
I do know, so myself, our tech ed teacher and ag teacher did run over to Belleville one day, but they did do an addition on the side, there's almost as close to what we're gonna have. So we ran over there, but we're talking about this one. I know one was come up with the like Turner, but I believe theirs is a 14 as well, or somewhere, it's a similar age range. So, yeah, there's some good dialogue, but I don't know exactly. Okay.
Other questions? And I'll just additionally note that our architect and contractor reiterated what they said at the last board meeting, that there are definitely supply chain issues. So not only do we have greatly inflated prices for things like steel and lumber, but there are difficulties in the supply chain in ensuring windows would show up on time and everything. So that's something that they're closely monitoring, but that's something we can expect right now. Okay, if there is nothing else, we will move to item F, 2021 Summer Facility Use Protocols.
Yes,
Dr.
so
Thayer.
our facility use protocols, our recommendations are for your review. As we'll see, they are much shorter than the school year one. We are starting to, be able to relax some of the protocols that we had in place for this school year. So I do think a couple things to note, and some of these things continue to change very, very, very quickly. You guys came out last week, and there was some other expert guidance recently. So, you will see what we're requiring, or suggesting a mask requirement is masks are required inside the building unless social distancing can be maintained, but we have dropped the outside mask requirement. Otherwise, again, it's similar, people should monitor before they come in. If you test positive, you're denied admittance until you're cleared. Contact tracing will be conducted, transportation at times to the road still, mask required, because again, if you've been watching a lot of the news, we still have our children basically, for the most part, are not able to be vaccinated yet. So that does create a bit of a challenge, especially elementary. At this point, our middle schoolers, they were able to get them first vaccine last week, but they aren't fully vaccinated into the summer. And then our high schoolers, by about the end of the school year, many of them will be full vaccinated. So that's where we stand right now. That's not to say that in June or July, we won't come back and say, let's amend this again. But, if you look at sporting events, we are recommending that only 2 teams are allowed in the gym at any time, and for sporting events, each team is allowed 4 spectators per athlete per person attendance. And then basically for facility use for external groups, it's extremely similar to our internal groups. Basically, the biggest change, between the two, or difference between the two, is that we're not contact tracing for outside groups, obviously, but otherwise you will see that they are all bigger.
And Dr. Thayer, you are asking for action on this?
We would like action. We are starting to get external requests, so they want to make sure that they can use the facility for summer. And then are also asking what the requirements, like you can get to have, approval from the council.
Thank you. Any questions by the board?
I have a question. About the mask requirement, I did see that the CDC is still saying within school buildings, they should still be masked at all times. So I'm wondering how we are going to be able to ensure that their 6 feet can be maintained outside, internal and external.
Yeah, it's just basically we're saying if they're able to keep 6 feet from, I'll give you an example. We were asked by the manager workers, can they use our auditorium? If they can stay 6 feet apart, it would be really clear that anything, they all should have it activated, but, you know, are we gonna require them all to wear masks if they're able to sit in an auditorium? You know, or other groups that are in our facilities, I'm struggling with, or even our own, staff or something. If you're able to stay apart, we really need to do that. I agree though, if you can't maintain that distance, then you need to do that. So that's our recommendation, again, the board considers it correct, but that's why we come up with that.
Other questions, comments from the board? Otherwise, I would look to a motion to approve or at least amend if there's so that desire to amend, but to either approve or amend the 2021 summer facility use protocols.
I'll move to amend or approve those changes.
Okay, you're actually just moving to approve them, right, Travis? You're not, okay. Is there a second to Travis's motion?
Larry, second.
Okay, thank you, Larry. Okay, the motion is to approve the recommended 2021 summer facility use protocols. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Not all those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. All opposed? In the opinion of the chair, the motion is adopted unanimously. Thank you, board. Jennifer, now you can go ahead and advise those external groups.
All right, thank you.
Okay, next is item G, reopening plan updates.
Right, we are recommending one change to the reopening plan, and it goes right along with, summer facility use, and that is to drop the outside mask requirement. Again, based on all the information that's coming out, Dr. Terry wrote more about it, that if you're outside, you do not need to be wearing masks anymore. So even though we're very close to the end of the year, we can still keep it dropped. So again, that's our recommendation, but we'll carry with us.
Discussion by the board. I will note just more locally, Dr. Myman from the State Department of Health Services felt this was a quote unquote no-brainer. That's helpful to anyone. Yeah. Any further discussion? If not, then we'll look to a motion then to approve the reopening plan with that addition or that change.
Drop outside mask.
You have to drop the outside mask requirement. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Travis. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, that was Deb. Thank you very much. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Now we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? In the opinion of the chair, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you, board. Next, we'll move to item H, end of year events. Dr.
All right.
Fair.
Your event, again, things are changing quickly, so although you would listen to this at your last meeting, we are recommending some graduation changes. The graduation changes that we are recommending is that we would increase the number of people that we would allow at graduation. So if we're able to have it outside on the football field, similar to our last conversation, it is going to be limited to immediate family with siblings and parents. We're recommending that we increase that to 8 people per graduate. Again, they stay in pods, they would be spaced out. The other thing that we would recommend is that if it's in the gym, that we would, and we actually, I also apologize that this is so late getting into boardbook, because we were not anticipating this, but with all the changes that were happening late last week, and then all the guidance that was coming out over the weekend, we felt that, it was important to consider opening this up more. I also would add that, there was a senior meeting this morning where it was voiced from some of the seniors that they would really like some of their grandparents to be there if possible, especially like out on the football field. And we have gotten a couple of comments from parents as well, like, can we open this up a little bit? So that's part of where this is coming from, along with all the masking, decisions that have been made recently. And so just a little bit of background, like kind of where did this come from and why did it come quick? So if it's in the gym, we actually would like to give the seniors the option of either that it's parents and guardians only with no required mask. If we were having it in the gym with, parents and seniors, everyone will would be that they have parents and guardians and siblings, but in that case, we would require masks. And again, because siblings often are younger, some older, some younger. But then we're gonna have, if we have younger students here who have not been able and can't get vaccinated, then we're recommending that everybody wear it. So though we would like to give seniors those two options, again, open conversation tonight, and I apologize again, it was a very last minute change. But, I also think we learned a lot. We had senior award night last week, and Dr. Eichelkraut was on there too. But, having been there, the families felt very spaced out. In fact, it felt a little strange that we were having everyone wear masks when it was just parents and seniors, and it was very, very spaced out. Because we use all the floor space and then we use all the bleacher space, it really, we are able to keep people pretty far apart in their family pot. So I see Ike is on here right now. But because of that experience, I think that also gave us the feel for, we could do this with families and still keep families far enough apart from everybody that they can, still be safe, especially if we keep the mask on. So Ike, do you have any more to contribute on that topic?
No, other than I would reiterate what you said about the spacing. You know, I had stepped it off and tried to kind of measure, and I thought it would be a little tighter than it was. We were more than comfortable in there with how it was set out with parents and students. In fact, we could have had siblings in there for the awards night. So I think those two options, the seniors had voiced their opinion this morning, especially about wanting to have grandparents and that, especially with it being outside. And so, you know, Jennifer and I talked. I had said that I would, you know, look into it, and we talked, and I think that is definitely with everything that has changed as of late. I think that's I think that'd be something they would really appreciate.
So the indoor is gonna be up to the seniors to decide?
That was what we thought. Our idea was to let them decide between would they, because I do think there's a big debate about masks at the moment too, and there's, you know, do they prefer not to wear masks at all, but if they do, then they can only have parent guardians. You know, if they don't like wearing masks, then they can have their siblings here. That's what we thought, but again, if the board wants to make that decision, you know, we definitely go back up.
So that's just gonna have a vote.
Yeah, have them vote, just like we do on lots of things this year. Have them vote up prom, have them vote up,
That's fun.
you know, all kinds of things, but yeah, that was our thought, was that we would just let them vote.
Is there a max per student, to attend if it's inside?
It is only parents and siblings, but obviously some families, you know, may have multiple sets of parents and siblings, there's split families, but it is, there isn't a limit, we just said parents.
Other questions, comments? You're not necessarily looking for action on this item. This is what the administration is planning to do at this moment. Is that correct?
You approved the last graduation plan, so, I do
Okay.
think it's board action because we did approve it. It's
We're
one of the gray areas, of does it need board approval or not, but it does deviate a bit from our, reopening plans, so it feels like it probably needs board.
Further discussion by the board? I'll just note that Dr. Thayer and I talked about this earlier today, and we talked about the feasibility and the possibility of trying to group as much as possible those who want to wear masks in one, if to the extent graduation's in the gym, on one side of the gym, and those who choose not to wear masks on another side of the gym, so that particularly those who want to wear masks won't feel concerned by the fact that they're in a room with mixed people not wearing masks all throughout their rooms. I think there may be, and Dr. Thayer, you'll correct me, maybe a survey just going out and asking what people's attitudes are going to be on that, and from that we'll determine what makes the most sense in terms of a seating chart. To the extent the graduation's in the gym, hopefully the weather will hold up and we can have it outside.
Yeah, I said that was definitely a possibility. We could find out who wanted to wear masks.
Okay, any further discussion? If not, we have a recommendation then from the administration to essentially modify the plan by increasing the number of family members who would be allowed to be at graduation from 6 to 8, and then to allow for an option of mask or no mask. Any further? Okay, Travis moves. Is there support?
Larry, second.
Okay, thank you. Travis made the motion, Larry's seconding. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Not all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? The motion is carried unanimously. Once again, thank you, board. Let's move on to the CISA 2 Annual Convention Delegate. And I performed that role last year, and we're looking for a volunteer to perform this role this year. And Chris, when is the CISA 2 annual meeting coming up, or convention?
It's June 15th at 7 o'clock.
Okay, I'm assuming they're still planning to be virtual like last year?
That's great, yes.
And would a board member wish to serve as our delegate at the CISA 2 meeting? And I will say, for the record, that I found it very interesting last year, and there is an additional opportunity to talk to school board members from our area, such as Belleville, Monticello, and others, to talk about common issues, so I thought it was valuable from that perspective as well. Any volunteer?
Deborah.
Okay, Deborah, thank you, Deborah.
You've done it before, haven't you?
Yeah. Done twice before.
A veteran at it. And no one's gonna fight Deborah for